G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I have a piece from a company which I haven't featured before. This is indeed a Luminox. So this company, it does appear quite frequently in blogs and podcasts and forums that I kind of occasionally visit. It seems to be quite popular, particularly in the US. But what I didn't know that it's actually quite a young company, established in 1989, so relative baby in the world of horology, established by an American, Barry Cohen. All watches famously use tritium gas tubes, as you will see on this particular piece. And the watches are Swiss made. They make requirements to be labeled Swiss made. Luminox particularly came into renown, I think, in the early 90s when they were appointed to be provider of watches to US Navy SEALs and then later Nighthawk pilots. And then subsequently, they've also provided pilot watches to various other divisions of the US Armed Forces, in my understanding. So that's partly their claim to fame. This particular watch here is the Luminox Atacama Field Day Date. This one is the 1921 model. They have a range of models in the 1920s range. This one is the 1921. So the original MSRP, as far as I've checked out, is 650 USD, but really the realistic sale price is around 400 USD or less in terms of what people were able to get it for in the past. I don't think this is actually currently still under production, but you can, I think, get new old stock from certain retailers online, and I'll certainly put out links below about what I can find. So this is a quartz movement. You can see there already, as I've shown you the dial, you can see the quartz second hand ticking away. This is a Swiss Ronda 517 movement. It is just a one jewel movement, standard kind of workhorse entry level Swiss quartz. It does have day and date displays. So the day here implemented at the 9 o'clock window with a white border. So white writing on black disc that you can see for both the day and date there. Date at the 3 o'clock position with the white border display window there, as you can see. So the rated quartz accuracy for this one is -10 plus 20 seconds per month. I haven't worn this for a month, of course, but I think it won't have any problems keeping within that, I expect. Moving on to the case here. This case is 45 millimeters, so it is a pretty large watch. It is in black PVD, as you can see there. 12 millimeters in the thickness. They've gone for fairly robust thickness on the quartz movement here. And the lug width, actually, it's a pretty large 26 millimeters. You can see there between the lugs. Lug to lug distance is a proportionally large 53.5 millimeters. So this is, in most people's measurement, a large watch. Overall, the weight isn't too heavy because this is a leather band watch that you can see, 112 grams on the scale. Letting you see the finishing on this watch here. So as I pan around, just have a look. It's kind of brushed all over. So there's a bit of a circular brushing that gives a bit of a sunburst effect on the black here, but everything else is kind of longitudinal brushing, radial brushing on the bezel there. So brushed black PVD steel finishing on the steel case. You see that screw-in case back, so let's just show you the details there. Right, stainless steel, anti-reflective coated sapphire, whatnot, 200 meters, Luminox logo in the middle there. It does have a screw-in crown, a plain crown, right? There's no signage on there. And the overall rating is 200 meters on the water resistance. Not ISO compliant, but you would believe that this would stand up to a lot of rigor, because they do make it to pretty high standards to meet presumably army requirements. That's their claim to fame and their history here. Showing you the dial now, so just have a look at that. Hopefully that comes through very nicely there. You can definitely see that carbon fiber dial there. So just have a look at the texture underneath the surface of the dial there. Above that, you have kind of this silver gray printing all over. So both the numerals for the 1 to 12 as well as the 24-hour numerals just inside there in the smaller font. Water resistance at the bottom, as well as the Luminox logo. Everything else is printed on top of the dial there that you can see. The tritium gas tubes are outside And you can see the 12 gas tubes around the dial here, recessed into the flange, which is where the chapter ring is printed. Okay, so that's really what you're seeing here. The hands are silver gray baton style hands with tritium tubes on the hour and minute, nothing on the seconds hand itself. And all these gas tubes are green except for the 12 o'clock position, which is an orange gas tube. So of course I'll put a lume shot right here now for you to see how these glow in the dark. Okay, and then on top of that, guys, we have a flat sapphire crystal, nothing more than that. It does have an anti-reflective coating, presumably on the inside. They haven't stated, but I think it's probably on the inside there. Okay, so that's really the case and the dial of the watch. So moving on to the band itself now. So it's black stitch leather that you can see there. Okay, nothing much more than that. Now the quality of this, I think it's not bad. It's a step above definitely a lot of the Chinese mushroom brands. It's not the best leather that I've seen, but it's actually not a bad one. It's got these proximal rivets for this kind of tough look here. I think these are also partly functional in holding the band together where it comes close to the hole for the spring bar. Okay, so that's really the look of the band here. In terms of the actual buckle, you have black PVD. It's got this rotating sleeve here, which is an interesting little addition. Double prong that you notice there with the double holes on the band itself. So guys, that's actually the whole description of the watch there. So, what have I particularly enjoyed about this Luminox? Well, I think it's got the Luminox street cred. That's what you're getting with Luminox. They do seem to have quite a bit of respect and desire amongst watch collectors, and at least on forums that I hear people discussing, Luminox do command some degree of respect. That's probably because of the value they provide, Swiss made at fairly entry level prices. You do get that tritium lume, Luminox call it Luminox light technology. I mean, really, they're just tritium glass tubes. They're not unique totally to Luminox. There are a number of other brands that use it, but they're particularly known for using it in all their watches. And it's got the Swiss production values. I mean, the finishing, nothing to complain of. I mean, it's not world beating, but really, it's fine. There's no kind of defects or any shortcomings that I can really point out on the finishing here. And particularly the dial, I like this dial. It's got that carbon fiber interest, and I don't know if it's going to translate on camera, but it's got a serious sense of depth. That because of that carbon fiber, it almost looks three-dimensional. And those windows where the day and date are displayed, they appear to float above the carbon fiber in some sort of a magic, kind of a portal type of illusion there. I guess that's what it looks like in hand, and hopefully some of that translates into the camera here. What are the shortcomings of this particular watch? Well, it's a rather huge watch, right? 45mm diameter. That's even bigger. That's approaching 50mm if you take into account the crown dimension here, with a 53mm lug-to-lug distance. This is a big watch in anyone's measure, and the strap width is, I think, a bit disproportionate. The 45mm diameter watch, 26mm strap width. It's a bit big, and it's also difficult to buy straps that would fit a 26mm. I mean, you can buy them, but they're not the most common size by any means. So let me just try this on and show you the wrist shot now. So guys, there we have the massive Luminox Atacama Field Day Date on my 17cm wrist, keeping in mind this is 53mm on the lug-to-lug distance. Strictly speaking, it is definitely too large for me, but that's how it looks like on my own wrist here. The other last point about the shortcomings, I would say, is the styling. Yes, it's a very nice, cool black PVD sports feel style here, but it's very much styled towards that direction, a tool style feel watch. So it is not for the office, not for smart casual. It would, I think, look out of place. But anything casual, yeah, go ahead. This would be quite a nice one, if particularly you have clothing or a getup that would match this particular colors or the other models that you might get. So guys, that's my review of this Luminox, the first Luminox I featured on the channel. Let me know what you think. I think this is quite a particularly popular brand, in the US. If you have models on Luminox, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the brand and your experiences about their watches. Guys, if you enjoy my videos, do consider subscribing. I put out new content weekly, always aiming to be objective and unbiased about all things horology. Thank you for sticking with me, and as always, I'll catch you next time.